It is 23rd of March, the year 2023. Good evening and many thanks for joining us here on KUTV Primetime News. Indeed, we have much and more lined up for you today, including our special interview with Daniel Omondi, reformed ex-convict who now heads his own empire on the issues and a transformative agenda as far as, transforming the society is concerned. Of course, we'll be talking to him later on our subsequent bulletin tonight. But first thing first, our top stories tonight. No retreat, no surrender. Defiant Azimio says demonstrations are still on, come rain, come tear gas. Tour of development. President William Ruto tour Gusii land with bags of goodies for the region. Serve diligently. President William Ruto makes passionate appeal to chief administrative secretaries as they take oath of office. And also tonight, Kenya Muslim faithfuls joins the rest of the world to mark the beginning of holy month of Ramadan. Alright, Evans Odhiambo is on our sign language interpretation tonight. My name is AUMA Evans. Remember, you can follow this particular broadcast on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook at KUTV Kenya, on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya, and at AUEVA_012. Remember to use the hashtag Primetime News. Well, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has announced that the protest will continue as planned next week. Speaking at media at Upper Hill, Raila stressed that Azimio protests are peaceful and aimed at uncovering the truth and reducing the cost of living. The opposition leader also called out the Director of Communication Authority, Ezra Chiloba, for what he termed as threatening the media for telling the truth. Additionally, Raila claimed that the arrest of some of the Azimio leaders during the protest was against the law, adding that charges against them should be dropped in relation to having handshake with President William Ruto. Raila noted that Azimio will not have a handshake with a government that he termed as illegitimate. The former Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa also said that the police are expected to protect the protesters on Monday and on Thursday next week as required by the law.
All that Azimio is looking for with regard to electoral justice is the truth. The truth includes the opening of the servers for a forensic audit of the election results, tangible actions by the regime to lower the cost of living, restoring the subsidies on fuel, electricity, education, and food, stopping the unilateral reconstitution of the IEBC.
We took this responsibility yesterday to give him a clear 5 days notice, and those notices have been circulated across all the police stations. So he has no excuse whatsoever but to provide security on Monday and Thursday when we'll be holding our demonstrations.
Right now, let's switch gears to Kisii County. President William Ruto is in Kisii County, where he has launched various development projects on his first day of 3-day tour in the region. The president was accompanied by the leaders from the region led by Area Governor Simba Arati, where he made various stopovers. President Ruto also made a public address where he commissioned the Kisii National Polytechnic Digital Empowerment Center, where he announced that the government will soon release funds for Higher Education Loans Board.
While commissioning Kisii National Polytechnic Digital Empowerment Center in Kisii County, President William Ruto announced that government is set to release Higher Education Loans Board allocation to fund university and technical college studies. The funds have been long overdue, sparking talks that students would have to seek alternative funding for fees and upkeep while schooling.
Sasa tumeweka pesa ya kutosha kwa budget in the last 2 weeks. Muko na pesa sasa ya Higher Education Loans Board, na wale wote watapata pesa hiyo, ndio musiangaike, muweze kuendelea na masomo yenu bila ya matatizo.
President Ruto also announced that the government is keen on investing in technology and that it will distribute computers and establish well-equipped laboratories in higher learning institutions in order to achieve its digitization objectives and create jobs for the youth in the digital sector.
And in our phase 2, we will make sure that every TVET institution in Kenya has a digital lab, and we have computers, and we are going to make sure all our students, the 500,000 students in our TVETs, have access to technology. They have access to a digital platform in our transformation and making sure that our students, our young people, have access to digital jobs.
The president has also promised that the government will recruit new tutors to increase the number of practitioners in various courses taught in technical institutions.
Mambo ya agro processing na value addition, na kupatia wanafunzi wetu ama vijana wetu elimu ya sawasawa. Mimi nataka niwaambie, we are hiring 1,300 teachers, and we are going to make sure 50 of those teachers will come to this college.
The president promised to establish a 5,000-bed capacity hostel for students in the institution and also complete the construction project. President Ruto also launched Kegati Water Treatment Plant in Nyaribari-Chache constituency, as well as the upgrading to bitumen standard of various roads. In the 3-day tour, the president will tour parts of Kisii, Nyamira, and Migori. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Right, from Kisii now to Nairobi. President William Ruto today presided over the swearing-in of 50 nominees picked for Chief Administrative Secretary's position at State House, Nairobi. And as our very own Sankale Tobiko reports, President Ruto made the CAS appointment last week and wired the names to the National Assembly, where the Speaker Moses Wetangula declined the vetting process, citing lack of legal provision for that process in the Constitution.
When giving out his speech after the swearing-in ceremony, President William Ruto has congratulated the Chief Administrative Secretary for their new roles as he welcomed them into the government. The President has requested for honor and dignity in the CAS as they set out to serve the peoples of Kenya.
My very profound congratulations to the men and women who have today been appointed and taken oath to serve the Republic of Kenya. To you, to your families, congratulations and welcome to Team Kenya.
President Ruto further went on urging the CAS to serve all Kenyans within the framework of the rule of law and asking them to always take time to consult and agree to be informed for them to serve the peoples of Kenya better.
I do expect each and every one of you to serve the people of Kenya in their entirety and the Republic of Kenya as constituted.
The head of state has also rallied Kenyans to come together and work in unity to enable the government to deliver its services to the peoples of Kenya, adding that his administration will transform the country through creation of more employment opportunities.
I want to implore upon you to take time to read, to understand, to consult, to ask, and to agree to be informed.
The President had nominated the Chief Administrative Secretary from the list shortlisted by the Public Service Commission (PAC). Among those who took oath of office were Millicent Omanga for Ministry of Interior and Coordination, Isaac Mwaura, who will be in the office of Prime Cabinet Secretary, Blogger Dennis Itumbi of the ICT docket, Evans Kidero for trade and investment, among others. Wilson Tobiko, KU TV.
Elsewhere, Azimio One Kenya Alliance coalition leaders who are arrested, on Monday while leading their supporters in demonstrations against high cost of living in Nairobi have been released on a cash bail of 50,000 or a bond of 300,000 each. Some of the leaders who are arraigned at the Kahawa Law Court include Minority Leader in the Senate and the National Assembly, Stewart Mazayo and Opio Wandai.
Azimio leaders who were arrested on Monday for leading Azimio supporters in demonstrating against the government, among them Kilifi Senator Stewart Mazayo, Unguja Member of Parliament Opio Wandai, Kilifi South MP Ken Chonga, and Malindi MP Amina Mnyazi, have denied charges against them. The charges which were read to them before Kahawa Principal Magistrate Gideon Owenga include leading the Azimio supporters in unlawful demonstrations and damage of a Volkswagen Passat car windscreen, which according to the court cost 1.1 million Kenya shillings. The leaders were arrested on Monday at around 10 a.m. while leading demonstrations at Kenya International Conference Center KICC and taken to Kiambu Police Station, where they were kept till evening and released on a bond of 50,000 Kenya shillings. The leaders, through their lawyers, said that they led peaceful demonstrations, which is provided for in the constitution, adding that they have freedom to express their demands to the government. Led by Ugunja MP Opio Wandai, the accused leaders committed to abide to the directives issued by the court, while at the same time asking the prosecution to provide enough video evidence that shows them violating the law and vandalizing property. Mutunga Joseph, KUTV, Nairobi.
Alright, Embu County government has pulled the brakes on the payment of some of the pending bills amounting to 954 million shillings due to lack of paperwork indicating that the contractors are qualified for the payment. The Embu situation comes at a time when the several other counties are drowning in debt. Our reporter James Muriki has the details.
Governor Cecily Barrera says that Embu County government will not pay pending bills amounting to 954.3 million shillings after the pending bill prop committee found out that the county government should not make the payment as the contract lacked proper paperwork and that the county government is limited in terms of funds. The governor hardened that the contract lacked proof of work done on the ground.
Projects that cannot be paid because either there was no documentation, the files had nothing. Upon physical verification and site visits, it seemed there's no work, or they were stalled and the contractor ran away and has not been seen. Some had even been paid more money than the works they had done, and it's coming to 954,384,671. That is 57.51% of those bills are ineligible.
Barrera further saying that only 705.2 million shillings were eligible for payment and that they are in the process of settling the bills. She has, however, called upon all contractors wishing to do business with Embu County government in future to be ready to deliver quality work, as no shortcuts to getting jobs will apply henceforth.
So out of the 1.6 billion worth of pending bills, the only eligible bills that we are going to pay is 705,216,250 to anybody who wants to work with Embu County government. We'll provide equal opportunities for everybody to do business with Embu County government, but going forward, to imagine you can have a shortcut to getting a job should come to an end.
Meanwhile, according to the report presented by the Controller of Budget Esther Nyakango last month, while appearing before the Senate Committee on Devolution, the 47 counties have total pending bills amounting to 158.8 billion shillings, comprising of 157.18 billion shillings by county executives and 1.63 billion shillings by county assemblies. She further noted that there are several counties with high pending bills. Amongst them is Nairobi with the highest share of 100.1 billion shillings, Wajir County with 5.5 billion shillings, Kiambu County with 4.9 billion shillings, Mombasa County with 4.97 billion shillings, Machakos County with 2.8 billion shillings, Murang'a County with 2.75 billion shillings, Mandera County with 2.12 billion shillings, Turukana County with 2.1 billion shillings, Kajiado County with 2 billion shillings, and Kisumu County with 1.67 billion shillings. As spending bills continue frustrating development in counties, governors are now calling upon the National Treasury to release funds on time to enable them complete the pending projects. James Muriki Mwenda, KUTV.
The Muslim holy month of Ramadan began at sundown on Wednesday, and as the faithful prepared for a month of dawn to dusk fasting intended to bring them closer to God and remind them of the less suffering of those less fortunate in the society for 30 days.
The Muslims' holy month of Ramadan has begun with the pre-sunrise to sunset fast being observed in every part of the world between 12 to 18 hours. Muslims believe that Ramadan is the month when the first verses of the holy book Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad more than 1400 years ago.
Tarawih program whereby we shall be praying around 8 rak'ahs after every Isha prayer around 8:30 p.m.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar and the most sacred month in the Islamic faith. During this month, Muslims should build stronger relationship with their God through fasting, selfless actions, and praying.
This month of Ramadan is a season of reflection, a period where we reconfigure our personality, a period where we repent to our Maker, a period when the Holy Quran was revealed, is a period when we rekindle our spirit of brotherhood. So I will take this opportunity to welcome each and every person who subscribe to our affiliation, our persuasions, and our ethos as far as Islam is concerned.
The fast entails abstinence from eating, drinking, smoking, and sexual relations during daylight hours to achieve greater taqwa or consciousness of God. According to some Muslims, this year's Ramadan has turned out to be different due to the harsh economic conditions experienced.
This one comes with a lot of blessings and everlasting what we call benevolence from our Maker, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
As the holy month of Ramadan kicks off this week, millions of Muslims around the world are feeling the pinch of inflation. Food and energy prices have been soaring, the lingering effect of the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change related events weigh on the global economy. Edwin Nyamo, KUTV.
The Ministry of Health has released a press statement confirming the outbreak of Marburg virus disease in Tanzania. The disease, which has so far affected 8 people and resulted to 5 fatality cases in Bukoba, Kagera province in the northern western part of Tanzania and the southwestern shores of Lake Victoria, is said to be a deadly disease which has so far contributed to a death rate of 63%. The county health officials have been urged to be vigilant to identify, isolate any suspected cases for proper and timely management. Right, we are due to our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Of course, plenty more to follow, including that particular special interview that we have, of course, prepared for you, from crime to music, and finally, motivational speaker Daniel Omondi will be talking to us live here on KUTV about the life after prison and all the philanthropical work that he has been doing. But that will be coming later on, plus plenty more to follow after the break. See you in a bit.
Okay, easy. Okay, I've stopped.
Out of my life. to be a problem, then you will have to pay me every single shilling.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vilevile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Kurunzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
Right, welcome back, and this is where we begin it all, the second part of our broadcast here at KUTV Primetime News. Now, 55-year-old Christopher Ayori, a civil engineer, was allegedly killed by his brothers and cousin in Brokwemweru village in Mwekwerero ward in Kisii County over a land dispute. Ayora's family is now calling for justice to be done for their kin who was brutally butchered.
Christopher Ayora, a civil engineer in Kisii County, was found brutally murdered in his home of an alleged land dispute. Josephat Nyaga, one of the sons of the deceased, said that they found their father's body butchered and that those involved in the murder have pending cases in court.
Letu ni kuomba ya kwamba wala ambao walifanya kitendo hiki, na tuna uhakika ya kwamba ni wala ambao wako na pending cases kule kotini.
According to Nyanga Okigo, Ayora's son, there was family dispute in 2020 where their house was destroyed, and this forced the family members to leave their home and dispersed to other places.
2020 kulikuwa na mzozo wa kifamilia. Hapo ndipo waliweza kuja huku nyumbani, wakafamia hapa kwetu, wakaharibu hizi vitu. Lakini kutoka wakati hatujaishi hapa nyumbani, kila mtu anaishi mahali anafanya kazi, na wengine tumekuwa tukiishi shuleni.
The family is requesting the government, including the police and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI, to speed up their investigations and bring the killers to justice.
County Commander Kisii, peace hao
GC to speed up the investigation towards this this act where my father was butchered.
In Kitutu Masaba constituency, Nyamira County residents were left in shock following the gruesome murder of a couple who were found dead in their house. Edward Morema Nyagechi was found laying dead near his garage, while his wife Grace Morema was later found dead in the bedroom, with the deep cuts around her neck and tied up in a similar manner to her husband. Detective from the Kisii police station arrived at the scene and moved the body to Kisii Referral Hospital waiting for post-mortem. Wilson Tobiko, KU TV.
Elsewhere, companies allied to Water Service Providers Association in Murang'a County have kicked off the exercise of planting over 10 million trees seedlings within a period of 6 months. WASPA Chief Executive Officer Anthony Mbugo said that each of the more than 100 water companies allied to the association has a target of planting 10,000 trees beginning this month.
On Wednesday, during celebrations to mark World Waters Day in Murang'a County, Anthony Ambugo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Water Services Providers Association, observed that the organization has so far sponsored planting of more than 1 million trees in various parts of the country. The CEO added that the organization is sponsoring the exercise by providing seedlings to the companies aiming to conserve water catchment areas and to prevent degradation of forests and water towers.
We are aware that our tree cover is at 12.8% and our forest cover is at 8%. And according to the directive of the President is that we have to strive to ensure that we plant trees to attain the 10% forest cover.
Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company Managing Director Engineer Daniel Nganga on his part expressed support for the tree planting initiative. He revealed his farm has prioritized growing of trees to ensure the farm has continuous supply of water from various sources.
We are collaborating together with our county government under the leadership of Dr. Irogo Kangata in the launching of his vision to do boreholes in areas where we have not been able to have our recreation system.
Nganga also calls for an end to vandalism of water infrastructure, saying the crime has caused many water farms to incur huge losses and further denied residents steady water supply. Joy Minor, KUTV, Nairobi.
In the wake of high cost of living being experienced in the countries, farmers in Kakamega County have involved themselves in black soldier fly farming, which they say relieves the burden of buying animal feeds at a higher cost, as well as reduce the cost of production. According to farmers, the black soldier fly are as a source of protein and can only be used for feeds formulations.
As the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization (KALRO) moves to develop low-cost feeds using locally available materials, farmers in Kakamega are turning to black soldier farming to provide for their livestock. Anne Nebutala, a small-scale farmer in Kakamega, says that BSF has multiple advantages that are of benefit to farmers. According to Anne, this type of farming reduces cost of feeds and is also a big source of protein.
Sababu ya kuanzisha BSF hii mradi ni moja, ni chakula imepanda bei na BSF ni source of protein ambayo ita reduce costs.
In addition, Anne knows that the flies can be used as an ingredient for feed formulation and also as fertilizer in the farm. According to her, the worms consume waste as their food, while the broken down waste materials are reused in the farm as fertilizer.
Na pia inaweza tumika kama feed formulation, one of the ingredient ya feed formulation. Ukitumia hiyo utapata ya kwamba utaenda kwa duka kununua vitu kama ochonga, omena ambayo iko bei ghali na protein content iko chini.
Abigail Luna from the University of Nairobi explains that together with other entities, they are carrying out a research to identify the best breed that can survive in different parts of the country under a project called Fly Gene.
We are doing research on them because we want to see if we can get the best strain, the best eggs for the farmers that for the flies that can survive in different areas of the country.
Abigail explains that any farmer can start black soldier farming depending on their location.
Depending on where you are, you can start with the larvae, the Insta-1 larvae, or the eggs, where all you need is the waste, the organic waste to feed them as you continue until they get to Insta-5 where they are ready for harvest. If you want to take on the whole cycle, you'll need somewhere to keep a fly cage or a larva cage where the flies live and they mate and lay eggs. They need a cage so that they don't escape.
In addition, Abigail knows that this type of farming is also a source of profit to farmers as they can also sell the flies to food processors. According to the farmers, black soldier farming has a lot of advantages which they say makes the cost of living bearable. Ruth Wanjiru for KU TV.
Alright, we take yet another short break. When we come back, of course, that particular interview that we will be talking about, they're integrating back into the society is up next.
I'm the founder of Arduino Kenya. Arduino Kenya, the name comes from the board which I usually use, Arduino Uno. In Oasis Madare, I've been training students on how to come up with projects using Arduino and Raspberry Pi. This is an app I've made myself. So you can change even the scrolling speed, you can reduce the speed. In this field of Arduino, I've been also able to make games. Instead of using manual switches, I'm using the touch sensor. You just need to touch the sensor, then the lights will be either on or off.
Leo tunakufunza kwa kuonesha jinsi ya kuandaa mabuyu hapa Talent Junior Academy.
Unachukua kikomo moja cha mabuyu unaiingiza kwa sufuria.
Kizoesha mtoto kumfanyia kila kitu.
Naam.
Inawezekana anakuwa lakini haelewi.
Naam.
Alafu hapo sasa masomo yatakuwa hayana maana kabisa. Halipimwi kwa mizani.
To the Church O'Clock Show. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Teros.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KU TV.
Tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi wale wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili bila uoga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Adventures across the African continent. See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and out of this world technology. Meet incredible scientists and learn fantastic facts. Explore, discover, be amazed. Part of the next generation of African change makers. Be a part of ENGEN, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day. ENGEN leads the way.
Tuesday tunakula usiku. Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo. Yoyo. Kama ndimo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Siki nice tujinise weke story. Kata maji pia shada liko na sio nikosa msupo si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni nini.
Big up, Gade, ukiwa Adliva, big up, Sis, big up, Shows, Mamba, big up, Oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
Right, welcome back, and now it's time for that big interview. Now, prisoners confined in correctional institutions are confronted by a range of social, economic, personal challenges that tend to become an obstacle for effective reintegration into the society. But despite social prejudice, some ex-convict takes the lessons learned in prison and turn a new leaf. Now joining us live in the studio is Daniel Omonde, reformed convict turned musician and motivational speaker. Daniel Omonde, thank you so much for making time to speak to us here on KUTV Primetime News. Of course, your story is full of twist and turn, and now we are interested in the man Daniel Omonde.
It's nice to be here. First of all, I want to say thanks for you guys giving me this opportunity to be here. And I'm just saying that I'm overwhelmed to be here. It's my second time to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice because you guys at least are considering that journey.
All right.
And during those moments in prison, also you visited one of your programs. So we really appreciate you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Give us a sneak view into your upbringing and take us through the journey from the time until you find yourself in prison
The journey's been a rough, and it's also been a tough one. But despite being a tough journey, we've been having also some benefits through the journey. So maybe if I just pick it on my childhood stuff, because I usually love to talk about it, to help somebody somewhere, because I know people are going inside prison, they are living outside the prison, but we have that circle, but someone has to speak, because there is this stigma, people don't want to speak about their past life, or maybe about that crime life or the journey process. So it's been a rough journey. I remember back days then when I was 20 years, I was arrested. And it was a case of handling a stolen property, actually. I just bought a certain property, but it came from a certain angle, actually a theft angle. I knew that this guy had stolen this stuff. But because when you're young and you want just to achieve something, you don't actually check the repercussions of your situations or whatever the action that you are doing. So I was arrested, taken to the prison, and I went through the court process, like the normal court process, because they have to try you. I took like 1 year and something in the remand station.
Right.
Then at the end of the day, they served me with the death penalty, so I was to suffer that death penalty. So that is where it began. That was back in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you are served with the death penalty, of course, and that is basically choking life out of you, what was running, inside your mind, and how did you handle such kind of situation?
Actually, I wasn't expecting it to be sincere. I was just expecting like a certain lightweight punishment, because it was something that it was my first time to be in that type of situation. So I never knew of something they call death penalty until I became a victim. In our bloodline or in our family, I was the first person to be arrested and actually to be served with that one. So it really shocked me, to be sincere, because it was a critical situation during that moment. So I was still young.
Right.
Young and enjoying life, because I was at 20.
Okay.
So it really shocked me. Even at a certain moment, I felt like I should even commit suicide. It's been hectic. It's really, really hectic moment. But I thank God, because during those slow moments, actually, I found some people that really believed in me and told me, "Oh, Daniel, this is a place where people come."
Okay.
And there are some people that have been here for more than 1, 3, or even 10 years, or even 20.
Okay.
Like Kibaki, there was a guy called Kibaki. So that person has served like 40 years.
Okay.
So it gave me hope, and I said, okay, let me focus with my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about some people who were there during your journey, of course, while you're there in prison. Now, let's talk about reintegrating back into the society. You've already served your sentence, and now you're back to the society. How is the reception that you received, and how has it, shaped the person that you are today?
The reception, I'll say it's not that soft, but the most important thing is the person and the individual that the person decides to become. Like now, me, I take my case as an example. It wasn't that easy, because there are some people that still look at you and feel like, okay, ni vile tu mwizi. Then there are these people that look at you and want to share that journey, but also there are these people that judge you from the word go, because once there is a say that always says that once a criminal, always a criminal.
All right.
So it's never been that easy, but it depends with the mindset and the person that you are, and if you know what you need, you will always be the obstacle.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this is a societal problem, and of course, at one point we must confront it. But now, when you talk about the healing process, and of course now reintegrating back into the society, from your own experience, what do you think, for people like you, and even for the generation to come, what are some of the solutions or other steps that should be taken in order now to, preach the message of acceptance in the society in as much as to help, ex-convict?
So I think there is something wrong with the system.
Right.
Because the Kenyan government, as it stands, they spend much money in the rehabilitation program.
Okay.
When you talk about the rehabilitation, you talk about a bigger aspect. Because now when you are talking about rehabilitation, you need to rehabilitate this person, because for you to rehabilitate someone, there must be a problem.
All right.
Because now this is the problem that we are solving, right?
Okay.
So he or she, the victim that is in a process of rehabilitation,
right,
for this rehabilitation program to be complete, like we have to complete the whole circle, we have to know where is the problem.
Okay.
Like I think the rehabilitation program is not just something that going to prison and living outside the prison, but it's something that needs to start from the point where the offense was committed. Because people get into this crime on some other issues because of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Or peer influence, but mostly, like in the Kenyan country, most cases are because of lack of something. People have gone to school, the education is not paying, the system is a flop, the system is not paying. We have like a lot of people that are taught here. A friend of mine is from Kenyatta University here.
All right.
So it hurts. So you see, this person, we have to build a system to consume some other areas that are it doesn't need to be book, but even if the book can work for someone, it's better. But if the book can't work for someone, because we have some other programs like personal skill programs.
Right.
So I think we need to emphasize on that, so that at least we can have different areas where people can get money or maybe earn living. Like
right.
Talent. Talent is something that the whole African community doesn't believe in. But talent is paying.
Right.
One of the biggest paying careers in the country or globally,
right.
I think I'll pick talent, because I know Christian is the highest paid right now, but it's because of talent.
Okay.
So the reintegration program, we just need to work on that one.
All right. Well, Daniel, your story says what is possible about life. Of course, from prison, musician, and of course, motivational speaker. How did all this happen? Did you find the motivation while you were in prison, or the passion for music is something that started way before even you were arrested?
I'll say that I won't say like a motivational speaker. I'll just say it as a mentor.
All right.
Because we mentor in different areas, because we've gone through the system.
Okay.
And we understand, we've been there, we are now out, we understand like where the joint is missing.
Right.
But with the music, when I talk about the music, it's been a passion ever since I was a child. It's not something that I just come out and bump into.
Okay.
It's something that I loved. The only thing that maybe blocked me from achieving that one is maybe because of my family status. I come from a family that doesn't believe mostly in talent. They believe in books. So coming to my family, telling them that I'm a musician was something that is a no-go zone.
All right.
But when I came to the prison facility,
okay.
The thing that I'll say it's a blessing in disguise with the prison is that I got people that actually believed in me. When I was doing my freestyle or maybe doing some of my music, people told me, "Oh, Daniel, you can do this thing.
Okay.
Oh, you're good." So just believing in me gave me that drive.
All right.
And I had to deliver that, or either unleash the monster that was just living somewhere, something bigger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your music, of course. There is a music that won your award, and some might say that is what actually bought your freedom. Talk to us about the music, and how was it, the experience then and now, that has shaped you?
Starting wasn't that easy, because now we were in prison and we had no facility.
All right.
You understand the Kenyan system, and now we are talking about the Kenyan prison. You don't have anything, so we had to start from scratch. But there was that support from brothers, I mean prisoners. When I'm talking about the brothers back then, we're talking about the prisoners that believed in us. So it wasn't that easy, but we started. That is where we started the Next Generation Family. We were back in Kibos prison, back in Kisumu.
All right.
I formed that group with some two other guys. Then we started like a kind of rehearsing. We could get time because we were idle anyway.
Alright.
We were not working. You know, when you're on a death penalty, you are not supposed to go to industry and work because you're supposed to be just somewhere waiting for that day. So we had to do something with our lives. So when we started, actually somebody came in, the officer in charge back then, Mr. Emasi, I really want to thank him because actually he believed in us. And you know, we were doing a genre of music that people never expected in prison. You know, in prison, once you are there, you only worship because worship is the much stronger thing that is there. So coming with the hip hop blend or something like raga, it was kind of a new stuff, but people accepted us. So the funny thing about that stuff is that after 6 months from forming that group, we won the award with our song called Binadamu. Is on the YouTube. It was 4 of us. The song was nice. People loved it. And after winning that award, I said that I'll pursue this stuff. Because I said if people believed in me in prison, because people were voting from outside. You know, in prison you don't vote. So most of our votes were from strangers, and that one really kept us going. But especially, I learned something from that one because I said, okay, people still believe in me, and I can do something. So the journey started back then in 2009. After winning the award, we were having challenges with the prison system because now the recording, you know, they don't have the studio or maybe a booth where you can go. So we had to source some other producers from some other parts of the country. But now calling a producer from Nairobi to Kisumu, it was a bigger problem. We just producer at a Kamnadim. So you have to put that person on that budget, and you have to put the transport. So it really drained us back then. So I had to move from Kisumu to Nairobi. So the only thing that happened good is the officer in charge was understanding. And I sat down with my crew. I told them, we want to make something here because now we're in the game and we are winning it. We need to move. We need to make a sacrifice. We need to go in a prison that has a kind of a certain setup that is structured, that can contain this type of talent. So now we had to come to committee, but now these other guys didn't want to come. But because it was something that was personal to me, so I said, me, I'll come. I had to. So I talked to the guy, he transferred me. He told me, Daniel, you want to come to Nairobi? Do you have money? You can pay for your transport. I had no money then, but I had some few money in my warrant. So I told him I don't have any money. But he asked me, can you buy lunch for my security team if they reach you to Nairobi? I said, okay. What are you going to do in Nairobi if you reach there? He asked me. I told him I want to pursue my career in music. He said, we are picking some things for the show. So we have a free trip for you, Daniel. You want to travel tomorrow? That is the way I reached Nairobi. So they took me from Kisumu to Kamiti prison.
Okay, let's talk about the choice of your music. And of course, you have mentioned one, Binadamu.
Yeah.
Do you sing to communicate message, or you sing because you feel this is just a hit song?
Generally, I do music because of the passion. That one comes first.
Okay.
Then the message comes second. Then the connection is something that I'm trying to do with my music. Generally, it's not because of the message, it's just because of the passion. So message, you normally put message depending on the group that I want to reach or the song is supposed to reach. But mostly it's the fun and it's the passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's talk about the awards, of course.
Okay.
And, you know, when you first won the award, of course, and you were in prison, share to us the experience, in as much as it motivated you, of course, but just how was it?
It was, actually, I didn't know that we were supposed to be on award category because we had worked with a certain producer. I'll give him that credit because it's somebody that believed in us. It was Jamal Malik from Stumble Record. He told us, guys, I'll give you a recording deal because now I know that you are struggling, because there was a producer that took advantage. Actually, there was somebody that had promised to record us. So somebody had chipped in and gave out some money. So this person conned us at that time. So we were desperate. So starting from that point, when this producer believed in us and submitted the song to the Vibes Award category, that is in Kisumu, Nyanza Mashariki. So when the song was submitted there, it just came to the welfare and told us, okay, you guys, your song has been nominated as one of the songs in the best group, group of the year, and one of the best videos.
So, sorry to cut you short, but our time is not on our side. But on a quick one, let's talk about the mentorship program. When you go there to schools, of course, and you speak to young people, what is the message that you're passing to them?
The message that we pass, either for the adults and for the young ones, is that crime actually doesn't pay, and you need to believe in yourself, and success is something that loves preparation.
All right.
Then there is another type of life, because people won't tell you what happens in the prison. People will tell you the prison is bad, but we are the few, the chosen few that comes out. That is why I call myself messenger. So Tmie from Daniel Messenger, I call myself messenger because I need to pass this message so that somebody, that little boy there or that little girl there that want to pass through that route should know, okay, we are having victims, because most of the people that we've been seeing are in the Bible. Like most of the stories in the prison are biblical stories. So I have to come out so that they know that, okay, we have victims and they are real people and they are there. Okay. So even me, I could be a victim. It's just that clear.
All right. Daniel Omondi.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right, and now we switch gears to sporty action. Well, the Kenya... Right. Kenyan boxers displayed this morning showing at the ongoing Women World Boxing Championship in New Delhi, India, after all the 11 country representatives crashed out of the competition. The last to be eliminated was Captain Elizabeth and Diego, who lost the fight heavyweight bout against Kazakhstan lightweight champion Fariza Shotley. The 10-day annual Women Premier International Spectacle concludes today. Alright, that's all we had for you this particular evening. Many thanks for those who made this production a success, and of course for you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us a company in the last 50 minutes or so. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Evans Odhiambo. My name is AUMA Evans. Until next time, bye bye for now.